We
go hard.
John, we go hard.
Beef and gear.
Beef.
Noise. It better be beefing.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to the show. We had a little break with we had John come up and talk with us, and that was cool to have him. And now we just have Ted Siegel.
Yep.
Front brother.
Front brother. Well, I don't know. Co-brother.
Co-brother. That's a good one. I like that.
I don't know if John even likes older brother.
Yeah. He had nice things to say.
Oh yeah.
He did.
All right. Good.
He said he didn't really want to do any other solo projects, even though I tried to talk him into a couple. But how you doing, Ted?
Loyal.
I'm doing good. I'm doing
good
really good.
It's good to see you.
We just had a delicious meal.
How was it?
It was very beefy.
Good. That's what we want.
Good.
Steve's tri-tip brings the beef.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Awesome. I'm glad. I'm really glad to. I really like to. I really hope I impress. I want Ted's approval when it comes to beef.
He's a fellow beef master.
Fellow beef master.
Yeah,
yes, I have. I'm no stranger to the ways of the beef.
That's why you're here, among other reasons.
Yeah, we'll be talking a little barbecue because that's we do.
Oh hell yeah! All right, good.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
We got a trip planned next year where we're going to be sampling a lot of different beef.
We need some pointers.
We're gonna
Nice.
need some recommendations and some advice.
Oh, cool. Oh, I'm always trying to get barbecue talk into interviews, but nobody, unless we're in Texas.
No,
If we're in Texas on the radio, then everybody wants to talk about barbecue. There's no problem with it.
I'm at a. It's a different show because we actually hang out on and off the music scene, and we're I'm actually kind of an associate at times in your studio, so like.
You trying to say you're my friend, Steve?
I'm your friend.
I don't think you can.
No, Ted,
I don't
my
think you're
friend.
allowed to. Yes, we have spent some hours behind a mixing board or preamps and doing some recording
we talked
together.
to shop. We went to college together.
Yes, we did.
College.
Yep.
College boys.
So
Yep.
So this interview, this talk, it's not really an interview. We're just gonna have a discussion and we're gonna have a good time.
Okay.
It's a lot different than the radio shows. You can actually dish your hatred of Mumford and Sons.
You can talk shit about whoever the hell you
You can
want.
talk shit about whoever you want.
Steven
You
asked
can
me
go
about that.
hard as fuck. Anything goes.
Yeah.
And-
What were we talking about when we were when that whole Mumford and Sons thing came up? You were like telling. There was somebody that asked me what I thought of Mumford and Sons, and I was like, I still think this. I'm happy that they repopularized our genre.
I thought that was a PC move out so you didn't actually have to
I mean, there's artists who I dislike more.
Well, there's always
Do
going to be
tell.
someone worse than Mumford and Sons.
I don't know. They're not so bad. I think it's strange that we have to be repeatedly resold our own music as Americans.
But yes, I was having this.
Yeah.
John was mentioning that they weren't very Americana, and I kind of agree with them
Yeah.
because it's very British. Everything has it's a very British country
Yeah.
scene.
There's also this other element that's going on in their music that you see with the Black Keys too, which it's like the people who are who are our age, who are their demographic, people who are like in their mid 20s and early 30s. We grew up listening to hip hop.
Yeah.
It was in dance music was like in our periphery, even if we weren't like actively listening to it.
We were either actively listening to it or we were like, oh, they born in the wrong generation. Like, oh, I hate the top 40. It's like one or the other back in middle school.
Yeah.
Totally, but it was like this thing. So I've always felt like bands like Mumford and Sons and Black Keys, like they're trying to there's always this element of
They're
making
real
things
music,
kind of dancey,
real
Yeah.
instruments.
Yeah.
So it's like blues or Americana, but it has this like slight little pinch of like almost like hip hop or like dance music in it.
Yeah.
Which you really hear in Mumford and Sons and to a pretty good degree in the Black Keys, which I don't think necessarily is a bad thing.
But
It's
the
just
Black
kind
Keys,
of like,
I don't think it is too much.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. That is.
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I don't know. I've kind of softened on the whole thing. I don't.
It was more of a razz about your old other interviews on radio shows of how you have to be nice to them and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, well, you just don't want to piss anybody off, I guess. But
You can piss people off on this show. I'm pretty sure you and maybe 5 other people listen to this.
I think we've got up to 10 to 15 that have heard it.
Okay.
Maybe 20 that have heard it.
So above a kindergarten class has heard this.
I don't know if you want to brag about that on the show, man.
Well, I mean, you got to be in the know to listen to the show.
That's true.
What you're saying is like a Spinal Tap thing, like your audience is selective.
Correct.
Exactly.
No, but they. I was listening to your show, man.
Yeah,
we were in Georgia.
I was surprised, and
we think our show's good. It's just it's hard to get it out there.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, we don't mean to talk down about it, but I don't.
Oh no, I'm just being funny.
Yeah.
I know what you guys mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I live. This show exists for people to talk shit on me. So
there's
half the people in the show.
We have people lining up who want to get on the show and talk shit to Steve.
Talk shit to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to get them on the show.
I don't know if you've heard the episodes with Terry Gross, Ultimate Adversary.
No, I didn't hear that. I got to listen to more episodes. I listened to David Sparrow because I was like, I had to hear that one.
Yeah.
Because I love David so much. And
Dave was great.
He's such a good guy, and I just wanted to hear it. I was feeling a little homesick. We were like in fucking Georgia, driving through the God knows where in the middle of the night, and it was really nice to just like be in your living room listening to you guys just shoot the shit with David Sparrow.
That was a hot day too.
God, I was sweating so bad during that interview.
Did you guys do it during the daytime?
No, it was at night. It was worse.
But we were hanging out all day, and I was making margs, and by the time you have your third wine, you just start sweating. You start to come up a little bit after you wait a little. And
tequila.
That was the first time we implemented the menu as we know it.
Nice.
And he asked for a pulled pork sandwich, so I had to, and most of my smokes have been late. Like, oh shit, I gotta get going on this. I'm gonna put it in there and like wait 6 hours, make it.
That's how it always is, man.
And so it took a little bit of time. I tried to get more people to show up because these beef sessions we try to get. Sometimes, like last week with Gabby, we had Gabby Dazidi on.
Oh, that was great.
And that was one of those things where Ryan Pressman wanted her to actually experience what a beef session is, which is basically we go to like his house.
It's got to be someone who's not living with their folks if you want to do it right.
Yeah. Thanks.
Not to say this isn't nice, but a little different environment.
What do you have? Okay, so what does it entail?
So basically, a lot of trips back from the kitchen to the outside area. A lot of smoking, drinking, weed, all kinds of not like hardcore, but just like back and forth and like real loud, and just to the point where if parents saw that, they'd like question like, are you guys okay? Like that's a lot. Like it's like half the bottle there. It's like it's nothing. So it's just a level that I wouldn't feel comfortable doing around your mom. I
probably would too. Feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think you would.
Yeah.
But that's just the it's nice, we all gather around and put on songs we like, we'll take shots to songs, and we'll throw darts and whatever. It's just kind of like a kickback that's also centered around some of Steve's beef, which worked out real nice.
That was my contribution. I don't really drink.
No,
vodka.
Steve's.
I'm not a vodka person.
No.
The way you guys talk about beef, it sounds so sexual. It's like around drugs and Steve's
when
beef.
When someone's
you're like you guys all like blown Steve.
I'm fine with that impression.
This is also an attempt for me to gain more sexual experience than I already have, which is very little.
Yeah, there's an ongoing campaign in 2017. We're trying to get Steve laid.
So
I haven't contributed anything besides editing a video, but I
know. Is this how this has become a thing?
Yeah, it started with Jim when he was on the show, or Jim Nelson from Stereo Mother. He was talking to Steve. He was giving him some tips, and they were some good advice.
Yeah.
And,
I didn't know this, Steve. I didn't know this was happening. Kind of a 40-year-old virgin thing going on here.
Yeah. I'm like halfway there.
God, yeah.
So,
getting old now.
I don't talk about it until I started talking about it.
You just got to go to a bar at the end of the night, man. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you gotta do.
Well, I think the point that Jim brought up, I don't think you were there, but after our trip, when in Mardi Gras, if we're still, on the clock, then I think Jim was going to kidnap you and take you to Reno.
Okay.
So
all right.
Reno.
Well, if he's paying, I'm good.
Yeah, I think he's
Okay,
paying. He
well,
offered.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know someone in Reno. I met them on the.
You're not
going to
know whoever Jim is taking you to. I think
I'd
it's
like to hope
his.
we can get a schedule arranged because I think
this
somebody.
is up to Jim.
All right.
Sounds like you're gonna end up with a tranny, man.
We don't. We
I'm.
don't discriminate here.
Yeah.
A hole's a hole. Right?
There's a question. We'll get to that later too.
Oh god.
So traps, are they gay? Never mind. Let's do it now.
That's a segment we might be debuting later. We thought about maybe doing it tonight, but
Okay.
I don't think.
All right.
I think the discussion's gonna head in that direction. There hasn't been enough vodka tonight for that.
And that's true. I don't do the vodka thing. So
Yeah, no,
I'm okay
I
with
would
that.
lead. I would lead that part of the discussion.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course,
All
I
right.
wouldn't have you having the PowerPoint out and be like, "All right, is this a trap? Would you fuck that?"
right.
I'll have to build the PowerPoint.
Okay, well we'll do that later then.
Yeah.
Wait, you
no,
guys are gonna do like a slideshow of like, is this a tranny or is it not a tranny?
Yeah, but it'll all be 2D
No,
though.
like
That's
that's the
I
difference.
thought you were gonna
That's
say.
more questionable.
The
I
problem
thought
is
you were
there's
gonna
a
say when you said it's gonna all be. I thought your next words were gonna be. It's gonna all
they're
be
all-
trannies.
Well, you're still right. In the 2D one, it's also all going to
You
be
go through and you're like, yeah.
maybe 3 of them, and like, nah, they all.
this is all the 2D variety, so it's
Yeah.
all anime.
So is tranny the politically correct word at this point? Are you supposed to say trans?
I'm not sure if there's a politically correct thing. Transsexual. I think.
Trans person is one I hear a lot. That
Trans
seems to be
person.
fairly neutral.
Non-cist.
It's so long, man.
I know. Trap, that's the best one. Although that's a little different.
Trap
I
is-
guess that's not implying
there's a setup and a payoff to a trap though. That's the thing is like the whole point is that you don't know and then you know
True.
for Notorious B.I.G. to put it in such eloquent terms.
So is this episode going to be called the Deltas, trannies and beef?
I'd be alright with that,
You're
Steve.
down. Yeah. So Ted, how was the tour?
Well, there wasn't any trannies involved.
All right, never mind.
Moving on.
Moving on. Never mind. Unsubscribe.
No, it was good, man. It was good. It was
How long was it?
3 months.
Dang.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
definitely our best tour yet, I would say.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it was good. It was the most lucrative, whatever the hell that means for us, still not really rolling.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it was the most shows we've ever played on a single tour. Played for larger audiences than we ever had, more fans than we ever have. It was good. It was a little longer to be away from home than I really wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that does seem like it would get to you after a little while.
Yeah, it was kind of getting to me. A lot of musicians they choose the lifestyle of doing what they're doing because they don't like being at home.
Right.
They don't like where they live or they don't like their whatever. That's not true for everybody. That's kind of
Sure,
a
no,
blanket
but that's a
statement.
common thing. You hear.
Common thing, and I like home.
Yeah.
I like where I live.
you
I
live in
From
like,
what I
very
hear,
nice
you have a
spot.
very nice home. So
I do. I love where I live. I love my little bungalow I live in with my girlfriend, and I love her and my cat and my barbecue and.
it sounds like you got it pretty made there. Like that's a sweet spot.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, man. It's really nice, and being up at the studio and having the piece to. One of the really hard things to do on the road is to write music. It can be really tough.
I bet.
Actually, that was a question I had.
Well-
You're always big about the song as it exists. So I wanted to know if that was like, because you were telling me a while back that you were churning out songs like on the road. Like,
Yeah. I definitely wrote more. I mean, I've been trying to write more this year than I ever have, and I've probably written maybe 40 or 50 songs this year, and only a handful of them will make the cut to be on the record, but it's really hard for me to write on the road because I need just quiet, and I need isolation, and I need sleep.
Yeah.
These are kind of all things that you don't get. It was
Not a
cool.
lot.
We had a couple days off in Denver, and we got this good deal on a really nice hotel room that was in town. And in the middle of the night, I'm always up in the middle of the night, and I realized that they had these giant ballrooms in the lobby that were just vacant. And so I just hit up the front desk and I just said, "Hey, can I just go sit and hang out and play guitar in one of those ballrooms, And
Right.
so they just give me this giant room I could just go sit in by myself.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really nice, and they were huge rooms. They sounded really nice. They're really echoey, reverberating, and we were in Denver playing the Blues and Brews Festival. So we just had 1 or 2 gigs in this 4-day period. So it was every night I could just go in there for hours. That's the other thing too. Is it's a lot of times when I write, it's you get into this weird vacuum where it seems like you're just going into there to write for maybe 20 or 30 minutes or something, and then before you know it, you've been writing for 5 hours, And I need to have as much time as I want. If I feel like I don't have enough time, that takes me forever. If I feel like I have all the time in the world, then then it only takes me 5 hours or whatever. Or I should just say it gets done at all,
Right.
Yeah, I've just been trying to really show up for it, for writing. It's you're right. You're totally right. It is really important to me. I just feel like it's my legacy as a musician, It seems sometimes to me like the only thing that's important.
I've been enjoying the new phase of what you're doing since the last couple albums. It seems to be very Barrel House Boy, and it's very it's the most observational writing I've seen in a long time.
Oh, you mean for me?
Yeah, for you is it's not
Yeah.
it's not nearly as, and I don't know if it's autobiographical or not, but it seemed to be more third person, looking at where you've been going.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to just it's so limiting to write only about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so limiting to write only from the perspective of first person, I mean, one of my favorite writers ever, of course, is Bob Dylan. I love Bob Dylan. I've had I've listened to his music so much and through so much of my life that he feels like he's my uncle or something.
Right.
It's really weird because I have all these phases of my life that I listen to his music and I appreciated it in different ways. One thing I've been learning from him lately, especially with his later albums in the late 60s, early 70s, is he has this way of writing where he doesn't allow himself to be restricted by point of view or personal experience.
Yeah.
He'll write. He'll have songs that he'll change point of view mid song, and they're all just things that they're all situations that he's created to get across some sort of point.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's that's when I realized that he was doing that, it was really liberating for me because I felt like I could write about all this shit that I couldn't write about before.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hadn't had that life experience, or I was worried about how the song would make people perceive me. I know that sounds
worried
really
if it was
weird.
authentic or something.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I mean, Jake does it too. The White Buffalo. He's just the guy we've played with a bunch, and he'll write we were having dinner with him a couple months ago, and on his last album, there's a song that I really love called Chico, and it's about this guy who's going to meet up with this guy who's a drug dealer that's right on the other side of the Mexican border.
Okay.
And he's going to meet this guy Chico, and he's worried about Chico, he's worried about meeting this guy. He has sketchy dealings with him. It's this incredibly vivid story, and he shows up to meet Chico, and Chico's been murdered in this really graphic way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this really cool, really interesting song. Check it out if you haven't heard it. And so
I'm
I asked,
guessing Jake hasn't, dealt with
I was
sketchy drug dealers in Mexico.
Yeah, I was how the fuck did you come up with this idea, man? What the hell is Chico about? Because usually when something's that vivid, it's usually at least something maybe he read about in an article or something.
Right.
And he's just he had this big shit-eating grin on his face, and he's like, I just made it up, man.
Nice.
And I was like, yes, dude. Fuck yes. Because if you sit around and wait for things to be true or for you to experience, you're going to have a really low output as a songwriter.
Yeah, it's
and
definitely
it's going to
true.
be so limiting. You know, and I just hear it time and time again with writers. You know, I went to this seminar one time with this writer who wrote for Britney Spears and all these people, and he said something that really stuck with me. He said, "Never let the truth get in the way of you writing a good song," which I really that really
I'd
like
agree with that.
stuck with me. You know, I mean, there is times where you want it to be you don't want it to be inauthentic. You know, and there's times when you want to write about stuff that you've personally
Yeah,
experienced.
but music isn't journalism. You know, it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
You know, this like perfect and integrity
Yeah.
kept up.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely more important to get the song better.
Totally. And just, well, I think it's ultimately just it comes to a point where it's more important to get across an idea or an emotion than it is to write about like something super specific and that every detail of it was true. You know, it's like you just want to make people feel a way.
Right.
You know, then like, so it's really interesting. I love it, man. I mean, almost every time I'm interviewed about wherever I am, people ask about songwriting, and I really never get sick of talking about it because it's such an interesting topic, and it's like to me it just seems like whatever situation I'm in, whether I'm listening to another artist or I'm hanging out with another band or I'm doing stuff with our shit, it just, to me, it's just like if the songs are not there, I just don't care. I'm not interested in it. It's like you have to have good songs or else you're just standing on a pile of bullshit. You know, I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because you know I take a very different approach to music, and so it's cool to hear the perspective of someone that's very song oriented.
Yeah, no, I know that that's not the case for everyone, and I'm sure there's circumstances that I could look at where I could disprove myself.
I mean,
you know.
Sure, but I think in general, the point you're making is very clear to me, and it's just some people approach music differently, like myself. So it's just cool to hear that. So I don't mean to agree or disagree at all.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know sometimes, like, especially when it comes to everything in my life, I can be a little extreme, from time to time.
I wish more people were. It'd be more interesting.
I'd rather have, and this is one of the things I love about you, is that you have these like great, strong opinions, and I don't really have to. I can agree with them or disagree with them, but I like that you at least have the stance, or you have the balls to tell me that stance.
Yeah, not people can be kind of lukewarm. Yeah, I know it's kind of crazy to look back on though. There's some things that I look back, I feel it when I hear myself saying it. I'll say something that I feel really strongly about, and I'll be like, I'm never going to change my mind about it, and this is what I think. And even as I'm saying it, I'm thinking back to all the times that I said things like that, and then later in my life realized I was totally wrong.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
But I don't know.
I love getting proved wrong and learning.
There's a lot of people who are not self-aware.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's part of being a musician is just being willing to be wrong sometimes. But
definitely.
I don't know. With songwriting, I don't know if I'll change my mind about that. But.
Sure.
It's funny because I don't have, and I've been in that, when you did the Songwriters Club back in school.
Yeah.
That I was not really writing then. I was up and down. Every time I try to put something together, it ends up being sarcastic or sardonic or funny, because I end up trying to not. Every time I'm being serious, I kind of hate it.
I remember you bringing a song in though. There was one song that you completed. It was like on piano.
Yeah, it was the Apathy song.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really good. I like that song.
I appreciate that.
That was one of our best, songs.
That was the one time when Eric and I first started playing in like 2010 spring.
Yeah, it was probably that summer you wrote that, huh?
I came up with it like in the spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by that. I thought that was really cool that you had like.
I appreciate it. Like
what was so cool about that for me was that I could see that like you weren't necessarily someone that was really seeking to be a writer.
Yeah.
But the being and showing up to that club every week had an impact on you and motivated you to write, which I thought was really cool. You know? I was really happy that I feel like there's this weird part of me that I know it would probably suck if it was reality, But there's like this weird part of me that feels like everyone should have the experience of writing a song, you know?
I mean, it's always going to be a good experience, you know.
Yeah.
Many people may not get anything out of it, but I think there's a lot of people that don't know they would get something out of it because it just doesn't seem like something they could do or something that they would benefit from. But I think so.
Well, I repeatedly hear from people just what you were just talking about, where people say that like they try and write songs and then they just everything that they come up with is, you know, for whatever reason they can't get all the way out of it, you know. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel the same way about songwriting as I do about engineering, where like the people that do it, a lot of the gatekeepers and people who've been doing it for a long time, they have this mentality where they act like it's much harder than it is, you know, because
it makes them look better.
Yeah, it makes them look better, and they don't want it. They don't want everybody doing it.
And they probably work.
I get it.
They probably both politically and like work ethic probably worked their tail off to get to that spot.
Yeah,
where they got to get those gigs, and so it wasn't necessarily the technology or the technique, but it may have been just the ascension they had to maneuver their way up to get those gigs.
Well, and I think the thing that a lot of people like that don't realize, engineering wise and songwriting wise, is that if you took a different stance on that, which is just, you want to be a songwriter, you want to be an engineer, you should get a rig, try and do it, get a guitar, try and write a song, is that a lot of people still wouldn't be able to hack it, even if they wanted to do it. And so they wouldn't be able to hack it. But then the experience that they went through of trying would make them respect the profession all that much more, you know?
That's true.
As opposed to just sitting on your high horse and being like, well, don't even fucking try it.
You'll never make it.
Don't even attempt it. You know? It's just like, that's always irritated me. It seems to be more abundant with audio engineers, where they have this vibe like, you want to like go out and buy a rig and shit? Oh, you shouldn't even try that. You need millions of dollars worth of shit to even record a demo.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, man, that's just a bunch of bullshit.
That's selling their excuse for them to, you know, use their services and not, you know, it's a business tactic too.
It's just, it's kind of an annoying thing that's always really irritated me. I always liked engineers that took the attitude like, you know, there's guys out there like Pensato and, you know, I mean, this is kind of a weird crossover. I see a lot of similarities between being a songwriter and being an audio engineer. There's definitely some crossovers, but but I don't know, with songwriters, I just think it's really about, just like with songwriting, getting good at it is just about showing up to it and doing it.
Yeah, I think there's like Malcolm Gladwell's not too far off with just trial and error and just keep working at it. Yeah, I've kind of learned in recently that taking a comedic approach to writing is kind of where I feel better about it, or I feel more confident, and or just it's the do what makes you feel good concept of just like, I feel more in tune if I just like embrace the more sarcastic approach to, at least lyrically, even musically, you know, having like kind of vibe.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing is too is like, maybe if you're frustrated and you don't want to be just writing comedic songs, you might, if you just show up and you write all the comedic songs you're gonna write, you're eventually gonna be writing so much that you're just gonna write something different. Yeah, it's very hard to steer yourself into what you're gonna be writing.
True.
You know, so I've stopped trying to do that. I'll go and I'll like, you know, sit down and I'll be like, I want to write like a batch of rock tunes. Yeah. And then I'll write like 5 ballads. I'll be like, all right, well, it's just not. If I would have really tried hard to write rock songs in that situation, I probably would have just written nothing.
Right.
So it's better. I'm better off that I've, like, sometimes a lot of the, you know, my favorite songs I've written were songs where I was writing. I had no intention of writing what I ended up writing. Yeah. So, you know, it's just like, it's just fuck it. Just show up and do it, you know? So
I think this is some advice we could probably take. Yeah, we could use some more songs.
Just beef it. Just do it. Man.
Yeah, man. I always take that attitude about it. So, but going back to what we were talking about on the road, it's hard for me to be able to write. And for me, writing is like, it makes me feel like I've been productive. Mm-hmm. It makes me, and it's like this really in-depth therapy for me. So I can't, like, if I don't get to do it for long periods of time, I just get really bummed out. You know, it's really difficult for me to deal with that. So I have to, like,
You got to go to a ballroom and fucking jam
yeah,
out 5 hours.
To find
you know?
that. Yeah, you know, I'm always trying to find places where I can, like, every time we get an opportunity to do that. We went, we had some really cool experiences on this last tour that were not performances too. We, like, one of the places I got to do a lot of writing was we have these friends, who, the guy who produced our last Like Your Brother, you know, Tommy,
Yeah.
you know Tommy well. He has these friends that live out in this area, rural New Mexico, called Rama. It's this really interesting place. It's way out in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico.
Nice.
It's in between Zuni and Navajo reservations. There's this little strip of land that's in between these two massive reservations, where there's, like, you know, a couple, like, this very small community of farmers, and you're 2 hours away from, like, the nearest market. You're way out, you know. And we got this 2-story house that people buy land there, and they buy homes there because it's very inexpensive. You can
I bet.
yeah, you can buy an acre of land for like $1,500. So people have vacation homes there, and they're when you go and visit there, you can find a million places where you can hang out and stay for a couple of days.
Nice.
So we got this house, and we were just able to just, you know, be out in the middle of nowhere playing. Awesome. And then when Tommy came and met us there. And we got to experience this really amazing thing, which is we got to go see, we got to go onto the reservation and witness a Zuni rain dance, which was really amazing. Yeah, it was really, I didn't realize how intense it would be. We came up, you walk into the middle of the reservation.
Well, I mean, it's New Mexico. It better be intense, you know. They're getting a lot over there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always, it's so funny because when, like, we go to New Mexico all the time on tour because it's just, like, along the route. Right. I always hated New Mexico. When we drive into it, they have this sign that says "Land of Enchantment." And I'm always like, "Land of Enchantment, my ass." You know, I was never impressed with it. But in subsequent visits, but yeah, this dance we witnessed was just incredible. It was fantastic. It was like hundreds of dancers, and all these native, you know, all these really beautiful tribal outfits, and we were like 3 or 4 of non-native people that were there. So it was like we were witnessing something that was really, like, for them, not for us, you know. And
just
it
like
was
a fly on the wall experience, sort of.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, Tommy's friends that took us to it, they told us, they were like, if there's native people there and they wanna watch, you have to yield to them. Make sure that they get, you do not stand in front of them, which was kind of an interesting experience for me. Like, I was thinking, like, wow, there's actually a situation where, like, I'm not the most important person here, you know. I kind of like yielding my white privilege for a minute. You know, it was kind of,
you don't
like,
see it often.
You know, it was kind of like, this is something for them.
Right.
You know, and I'm just here to just, you know, take it in.
But there's a lot of jokes. I think Firesign Theater used to make fun. We would just joke about, like, make fun of all the hippies and all the people that came to reservations for tourist purposes. Like, ooh, do a rain dance, tipping on. You know, like, it was sort of there was a little radio like a stint on one of their albums that was all about the plight of the Native American. Yeah. From the Spanish to, like, the nuclear testing and, like, onward and oil and all that sort of stuff. It was
kind of interesting to hear about with these Zunis because they're one of the few tribes that's never been moved off of the piece of land they originally settled on.
Oh, okay.
They've lived there for like thousands of years. It's really interesting. And they didn't do their dances they stopped for many decades because during the Inquisition, the Spanish did horrible things to the Zuni to make them Christian.
Right.
They would, like, do all sorts of terrible, like, torture them and do all sorts of terrible things. Oof. And so their tradition kind of died out. And then there was this resurgence of it when there was all, in the 60s, there was all these, like, hippies that would come during big Zuni festival months to see the dances. Yeah. And it was like this weird thing where there was this resurgence of the dance to exist because of these people that weren't native that wanted to see it. And now it's, like, completely cycled back over into this
Right.
very traditional thing that doesn't involve outsiders. It's very cool.
I would
I'm
not expect that. Yeah.
It was kind of, that's like such an American story, you know,
Right.
you know. But
That's
yeah,
pretty great.
it's cool things like that we got to witness when we were on the road, and there's things like that are outside of the music that like you're just like you get to experience the country and the world in a way that a tourist never could.
Yeah.
You know, you get like inserted into all these things in this way that is just like you wouldn't if you were just driving around the country with a map going, oh, let's go to the Zuni, you know, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of cool, went to a lot of places we'd never been before, which was kind of cool. I thought we'd almost been everywhere, but we hadn't been to Jackson, Mississippi, which was interesting.
Yeah. How far east did you go?
We went to, we went all the way to the East Coast. So we went to New York City, and
Dang.
I mean, we pretty much hit.
Yeah, you really did go everywhere then.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much hit everywhere between Massachusetts and Florida
Okay.
on the way down the coast. We didn't go up as far as Maine.
Right.
We haven't done like Maine, Michigan, Wisconsin, that area we haven't done yet, but we'll get up there eventually. And then we're going to Europe for the first time next year, which I'm really excited about. And,
Doing a couple different countries or just sticking to one?
Yeah, we're going to Germany, Holland, Denmark, Sweden, and Norway.
Nice. Oh, that'll be awesome.
So yeah, it should be. We have the first 8 shows are booked, 4 in Holland and 4 in Germany. So it should
See what
be.
you can get when you're out there, or just as it comes up, you'll get more.
Well, that's just It's in May,
Oh,
so
okay.
he's still booking it.
Yeah, that's
So this
that's
is
a
like
ways away.
the we'll probably book 30 shows, you know, and he's
Gotcha.
done first 8. So I don't mean to go on it. There's always like I have this like autopilot that I hit when I go into any kind of interview where I start just
John mentioned
rambling
that, I
off all
think.
the shit that we're
Yeah.
gonna do, because
That's all
like
right.
you're supposed to do that. But I don't even know if it really matters
It's
in this
okay. We're
situation.
gonna cut most of that Zuni dance bit. I think that was like,
Yeah.
All right,
It was
going
just-
on a bit.
My favorite interview thing ever was John one time. Like he was doing these interviews for this newspaper, and I was really sick when we were on the road, so I was like, John, just you fucking do it, you know. And he doesn't ever do the interviews,
Oh,
you know.
okay. Nice.
And so he there was this one newspaper that like they called him, and I guess they were just really lazy or something, and they were just like, look, we're just gonna send you a list of questions, and we want you to just write your answers to them and send them back to us. And I think my
wow.
brother was thinking that they were like gonna compose his answers into like an article, you know, and not like just. So he just sort of wrote like all these weird, like kind of esoteric answers to all these questions. Like they were like one of the questions was like, what's hard about being on the road? And he was like, well, there was this one time where we were in a swamp in Missouri. And my brother was sleeping in the car, and when I woke up in the morning, I looked through the window and I thought I saw something glistening in the hot southern morning light. And it was the sweat on my brother's fat body. It's all this crazy shit. It's all this crazy shit. So then we like get to wherever the hell we were going, and we're reading this article, and I'm like, fat glistening on my. I'm like, John, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? And he's like, I didn't think they'd print it. I thought they'd edit that out. I'm like, fucking, they just printed this shit. We're like fucking nuts.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Just made us look super crazy.
copy
Like,
of
what
that?
the fuck are we talking about? Just go off in these directions where you're just like, okay, this is like somebody like schizophrenic in the band. What the fuck is he talking about? That was just that was pretty funny. We've definitely had some funny interview stuff. I mean, I think it's cool that you interview just my brother, because it's usually just me talking a lot, and I think it's cool to hear what John has to say.
We had a great conversation. It was pretty interesting.
It's not because we don't like each other. That's not why we didn't interview together. It's just because
tried
I
to
think you get more out of my brother if you interviewed him on his own.
I tried to spin it that way. So what's going on? What's up with Ted, man?
Yeah.
Uh,
Another funny thing I was going to add that me and my brother always gets asked, which is one of my least favorite questions, is interviewers always ask me and my brother while we're on tour. They always go, so how are you and your brother getting along? How are you getting along? How are things in the car? And I'm always like, fuck, man, what do you think we're gonna say? Like, we joke about this with the Zemeds too, like, because they get asked that too.
Of course, yeah.
And it's like, what are you gonna say? Oh yeah, we're doing fucking great. We get up in the morning and I say, hello, John. Well, hello, Ted. Isn't it just a wonderful day? Let's get in the car and go to the next gig. No, there's times when it's fucked up, you know? It's not always going to be perfect. And we don't really want to talk about the status of our relationship in every interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically, it's, it's three guys cramped up in a small size SUV.
Yeah, with a limited budget and a tight schedule.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be. It's just you put
Riding
them
for miles and
put,
miles.
Put people like that in a situation who are the best friends.
Oh, yeah.
And there's going to be problems. So to ask people shit like that is just stupid. You know, is from an interviewee to an interviewer, Steven, if you ever get a touring group, don't ask them shit like that.
I don't think we ever would. We would sooner ask them their opinion. Our trap's gay. So,
much better choice of discussion.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are doing like an Easy Rider style trip to Mardi Gras, except in my minivan, not on motorcycles. But we're taking the 10 all the way.
Way less badass.
It's the 50th anniversary. Yeah, we're doing Easy Rider is one of my favorite movies. It's pretty favorite of yours.
Oh yeah, great movie.
And we're doing the Mardi Gras trip to New Orleans. Except we won't probably sell Phil Spector a bag of Coke.
Yeah, if I find a bag of Coke, if someone wants to buy it, I will sell it. But I don't think Phil Spector will be buying.
That's such a great. There's no dialogue in the entire first 15 minutes of that section of them going to Mexico, picking up the Coke, selling it to like Phil Spector and his bodyguard on the back of LAX on that one. Everybody knows where that is too, where the planes are going down.
Right.
Off like.
Phil Spector probably that was not such a stretch for him. I'm sure he
No, I think that was probably real Coke, and that was his real bodyguard. That was his real bodyguard. Was his real limo. That was really him. So I mean, because
he probably did really snort that later.
He probably really did snort that later.
And he did really shoot that chick later too. I always wonder about Phil Spector. I'm always like, what is that guy doing? Like, if I sent him one of my albums, would he like check it out? I mean, what does he have to do right now? What is he doing with his time at this point? He could listen to a Deltaz album.
Yeah, why not?
He's like, no, needs more reverb, needs more wall of sound,
more strings.
Yeah. Whew. So, Ted, you clearly know your beef.
Yeah, you passed the beef test.
But do you really know your beef?
There's multiple kinds of beef.
We are the providers of the exclusive experience known as the Beef and Lifestyle.
Is this the part where you guys whip your cocks out, man? If so, I'm not down.
That's our
not at all. That's our unfortunately no.
That's our exclusive Patreon exclusive.
All right.
That's our
sorry. I just had
gay pants wrestling.
I had to crack a joke there. I couldn't help myself. All right, yeah. So okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw some names out there and some things out there, and you're gonna say if they are beef, if they beef it in nature or in its.
Are they a beefer? That might not mean that they eat beef, but like do they bring to life what beef brings to the meat like section? Like beef is clearly
I know what you guys mean.
Yeah, these are people that
get it.
These are the people that don't give a fuck. Pretty confident. Like,
so what do I have to say?
Beefer or not?
Beefer or not? Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Shoot.
Beefer or no beefer? Let's just start out with an easy one. Okay. Willie Nelson.
Oh, beefer for sure, man.
That would be correct.
OG songwriter, Texan. Dude, this man has eaten a lot of smoked beef. That's a no-brainer.
Just his weed laws alone.
I mean, he is smoked. He literally is a smoked piece of beef.
He's a smoked beefer.
That's a no-brainer.
We had to throw in a couple, soft.
That's a gimme.
And keep in mind, it's also their output and their personalities would come into play here.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So like it's not like these people might be vegetarian. I didn't know, but like,
Oh yeah, I mean Willie. I'm sure Willie doesn't eat as much beef as he used to, but
Right.
he's definitely a beefer.
exactly. So okay, I think
Okay.
that's that. We'll ease you into this thing.
Okay,
Let's see, Phil Collins.
not a beefer, dude. No way, man. No way, dude.
That dude is.
If you sing one time, if you're a drummer and you sing at a concert in front of people and you're a drummer and you don't play drums and you sing through a headset, you are not a beefer. You are not a beefer, dude. If you use a headset even one time, you're not a beefer, dude.
like a headset, like headphones, or like a headset.
Like a headset, like one like a Backstreet Boys kind of thing, man.
Peter Gabriel did that, so I'm gonna disagree with you there.
He's not a beefer either, man.
You know, I'll agree with Ted on that one. But I'm
I
sticking
never
by my
said he
boy
was,
Phil.
but I'm just a big Peter Gabriel fan.
Yeah.
Phil Collins is a beefer.
Well, you know, we'll tally it up and you score at the end.
Never mind. He's a yes on our check, but
Well, I don't know.
Lost Beat 6 approved.
I'm seriously in question of this list now. If Phil Collins is a beefer, he is not a beefer, dude. Like for sure.
I don't know, man. There's parts of beef that we know a certain part of the
what
beef.
makes him beefy?
This song doesn't convince you that he knows how to beef it. Like, I don't know. This is some jamming shit. This is that like beefing 80s living hard lifestyle.
I'm not hearing it, man.
Not digging it?
That picture, he looks like he's looking at a piece of iceberg lettuce. This man is not a beefer.
All right, sorry. We gotta.
oh my god,
That was too funny.
that was great.
Sorry, man. I'm not convinced.
Okay, that's fair. Well, this is a okay. Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl?
Yeah,
It's a tough one. I would say beefer.
we said no
No, why not?
because
I don't think I've ever heard anything really beefing from Dave Grohl.
the guy is so funny and personable, but like
He's a really nice
Well,
guy.
You know what he's like, man? Like, because I'm thinking, like, when I think in beefer, I'm thinking, like, quality of beef. Like, you are a piece of beef. And
That's
he definitely has, like, Dave Grohl, man, he's like, I mean, I love Nirvana. I love what he did in Nirvana. I don't really care for the Foo Fighters very much. They're a little generic.
yeah.
But, dude, the dude is very passionate. He's very humble. And he's a hardworking dude. He's beefy. He's beefy, man. He's got a beefiness. It might not be the kind of beef that I like to eat, but he's a beefer.
I agree with you on the Foo Fighters part for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely generic. I never really cared for the drums on Nirvana that much, but I will say, it was. I mean, obviously that's a lot better than Foo Fighters, but I mean, I don't know if his passion for music is something I would call beefy.
It's pretty beefy, man. I mean, it's like a for love of the game kind of thing, Like he's in it to win it, man. He's like a.
I haven't seen him use that Neve console since he bought it.
He's like a $2 Chuck Burger, man. Like it's just like he's getting in there, he's playing the game, man. It's not like you're not going to serve up $2 Chuck, to your, woman of your dreams on the night that you ask her to marry you.
Sure.
But you're going to eat it.
This is actually far more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, no, this I was expecting like boom, 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 just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
beefer, man. This is no joke, man.
That's true.
You're either a beefer or not. And,
Okay,
And
okay.
Dave Grohl's beefer, but he's squeaking by.
Okay.
He's squeaking.
enough.
All right. Hank Williams
Oh.
Jr.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to say not beefer, dude.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. Yeah, we
that's definitely
agree.
going with that
It's
one.
really sad that I have to do that, but
I don't think that's sad
because
at all.
his dad was such a beefer.
Oh yeah.
And even
All
his
time.
son, Hank
yeah.
the Third, is kind of pretty much a beefer. But he's kind of a piece of shit, dude. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, no. We are in agreement here. Do not apologize for agreeing with us.
Yeah.
Because Hank Williams is a beefer. Hank Williams Jr. is a queever.
Yeah, I always have to tell people, we're like, hey, you want to hear a Hank Williams song? The brilliant songwriter, not the stupid redneck. You know?
I want to hear the guy when you were in Nashville. And you're like, yeah, over there. That's when you just would get drunk and just shit face, and then go sing at the Grand Ole Opry. He's like, that's awesome.
Oh, dude, Hank Senior is he's the definition of beefer, dude. Him and Willie are like as beefy as it gets, man.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino.
I'm gonna have to say not a beefer, dude.
I think we are in agreement.
Yeah.
We thought about it. Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs are so good, but there's
The guy,
Oh, he's a
great director,
great director, great movies. I mean, Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite movies, but it's just not beefy, dude.
No, it really isn't.
he's a little too
it's
uptight, neurotic, and almost kind of obnoxious.
Oh yeah, he's more of like a dude. If I had to equate him to a food, he'd be like fucking some hipster ramen place or some shit. Not a beefer.
The thing about beefers are their best ability is their ability to just kind of cut loose.
Well, they got a
not be
grit
so,
to them too, man.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about a beefer. You got to have I mean, there's a lot of good foods out there, man. There's a lot of good cuts of meat, but there's something about eating a really good piece of beef, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like the best people that cook beef cook it because they want to bring out the best in what beef flavor naturally has to offer.
This is a great analogy.
Very
You're
well said.
adding to this analogy really
and
well.
So a beefer, if you're a beefer as a person, you got inherent grit and flavor and funk.
Shit.
And Tarantino, he's got flavor, but it's not beef, man.
This is fantastic.
It's not beef.
Great content.
All right, what's next?
Tears for Fears.
I'm going to have to say not beefer.
We are in disagreement.
Yeah, it seems. I think on the Tears for Fears Phil Collins element, there's an appreciation for 80s music that we're not quite on the same page on.
I would say the 80s were probably one of the least beefy eras.
You see, again, I think we're in some disagreement there.
I am not to be fair on the level. I am not an 80s fan.
Yeah, I personally,
as much as
it's more of like
Eric is.
There's some sort of like metaphorical thing I like about the 80s, or not metaphorical, but it's hard to describe. But basically, I completely understand why you'd say that, and I think you're okay. But Lost Beat 6, official stance: Tears for Fears and Phil Collins both beefing.
Okay,
but there's not enough time to explain it.
No, I get it. I get it. All right. Well, what's next?
Woody Allen.
Oh shit, Woody Allen. Oh, I love Woody Allen, man. I don't know.
Great.
It's kind of a tough one. I'm gonna have to say beefer. I'm gonna have to say beefer because he's got a grit. He's got a potency. I think it's a very urban kind of beef, but I do think it's beef. I will go with beef on that. I mean, dude, the dude had a sandwich named after him at the Carnegie Deli in New York City, dude.
I can.
How much more beefy
that.
does it get than that, dude? It's a very different kind of beef than Willie, but it still is beef.
It's a very good argument. We came out of this with a slight disagreement.
What? Really?
It's the neuroticness. I
think this was our toughest one.
Yeah. Well, you said more of like a beta bitch sort of thing.
Oh yeah. He's Woody Allen's a great guy, but yeah, normally when you think of beefer, you don't think of that, but.
See, I think of this kind of beef as like a pastrami sandwich kind of beef, man. Like, there's a lot going on. You got like coleslaw and you got rye bread, which is kind of a strange thing to combine with that kind of hardcore beef.
Yeah.
But still is beef and very hardcore beef, but a totally different end of the beef spectrum from like Texas brisket, man. I mean, we're talking about a wholer animal, wholer kind of treating of this beef, man, but still beef. I
love this answer.
This is
I would have to
honestly,
go with beef.
Honestly, your defenses for these disagreements are really well stated.
Yeah.
So I can't just say nope, sorry, wrong, false. Like this is actually really good. You're doing great.
That was a hard one though. I could see where you guys would go with not beefer on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, the dude had a sandwich named after him at the Carnegie Deli, man.
I forgot about that's very true.
Dude.
I did forget about this.
I don't think we were thinking about that.
And I've actually was lucky enough to go to the Carnegie Deli. I did not order that though.
Wait, can I show you guys something in Woody's defense?
All right.
It'll just take 2 seconds.
Sure.
Go ahead and cue up the next one
Okay.
while we're waiting.
So we got Dave, Phil, Tears for Fears, Willie Nelson.
This is great, man. I love this topic.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be. We're gonna keep this one, especially for.
You have to have like a beef. You have to have somebody who's actually like a beef pro, though. Really.
Yeah, that's a very good point because this was a.
If you don't know your beef, man, you really can't say.
Okay, number 9 is anime.
Anime? These are funny as fuck. You guys say anime. Anime. I'm trying to think of how it could be beefer. Nah, not.
Eric
beefer.
Eric might have to explain this one because it's a little more. I cannot explain this. It has to be from Eric.
I don't think I could explain it to you. I don't think it could be explained to someone.
How did you land on that?
Yeah, I like the Tears for Fears and the Phil Collins thing. Like, I just don't think it will make sense to Ted if I explain it. Like,
Basically,
he just does not see the same thing.
The summer.
I'd love to be able to express it, but you're very a lot better at expressing your defenses for your opinions. I'm like trying to think.
I mean, is there a lot of guys who are beefers who have whacked it to anime?
It's I'm sure. I don't doubt that. There's a lot of great anime porn out there. So like,
okay,
it exists.
Here's my defense for Woody. Now, just for the people who aren't seeing this picture, I'm showing them a picture, and I'm going to explain what it is after I show it to them. This is a picture of me holding a Woody Allen sandwich. This is a Woody Allen sandwich.
I've seen that picture. I sent it to myself saying, "Look who's beefing it."
This is a picture.
I already said.
This is a picture of me holding literally a sandwich that I could barely hold in my hand.
I think I quoted
because
saying
there's
beef
so
that,
much beef.
I think I quoted that on your Instagram. I commented saying beef that shit up. I think
that's fucking great.
All right, what's next?
Okay,
so we're gonna play you a video, and then you're gonna
tell me if it's beefing or not.
Yeah, you're gonna decide.
All right.
The Father, the Son, and don't forget the Holy Spirit. Hey, let me tell you something that you might have missed about a dude named Jesus of Nazareth. They don't want to teach you this in Bible school, but that nigga had
Vintage 2008 from Newgrounds.
Nice.
With a sticker on the back that said I'll be. Other MCs don't stand a chance. Let the power of Christ compel you to dance. He had a goatee and his pants were baggy. He could slam dunk while sitting down. Son of God, awesome ass bod, 2 golden globes, 1 Emmy nod. He is the hippiness, hoppiness Messiah. And if you heard different, you heard it from a liar. Everybody thought all hope was lost when they nailed J. Diddy to a David Cross. There's no I-N-T, but there's a J-E-S-U-S on the C. Hey yo, it's Jesus, someone let me out of my cage. I go to church like every day. I'm here to spread the word of God, let's do this. I love all men, but motherfuck Judas.
Oh shit! I think it actually was "Come On, Scoop." That's coming up next. So we'll give you 2, just because I couldn't remember what the one was.
Scoop, Fred's in the other room trying to kill himself.
I'm gonna do it, Shaggy.
I need to get in there and help him.
I'm gonna freaking do it, Shaggy.
Scoop, help me break the door down. I know what you want. What? I know what you want, Shaggy. You want to make a big sandwich. No, come on, Scoop. No, Shaggy, that's what you want. You want to take a big stack of bread and a big stack of salami and shuffle them all together like a deck of cards and make a big sandwich. Oh, come on, Scoop. No, Shaggy, that's what you want. Yeah, you want to make a big sandwich. Shaggy don't sneeze, Shaggy. Shaggy don't sneeze, get him wet, Shaggy. Shaggy don't sneeze, Shaggy. Shaggy don't sneeze, get him wet, Shaggy. Shaggy like pussy, Shaggy like dog. Shaggy got Scooby-Dooby on the phone. Talking about the perfect sandwich, a stack of salami. Where's the mayonnaise? Right here. Shaggy is a businessman,
holding a stack of bread
in his hand. And he might just trade you for a kiss on the cheek.
Shaggy just played you.
Shaggy don't sneeze, Shaggy. Shaggy don't sneeze.
Shaggy just played you.
Shaggy don't
Give us your honest opinion. Mark M.
On what am I
Beefer-
saying on
Mark
Beefer or
M,
not?
Beefer or not?
on who?
On the
Mark M.
merits of those 2 videos that he made and wrote the
Oh,
songs for.
that guy.
Yeah, that made it.
I would say Beefer for sure.
All right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this
That was
Yeah,
that was
I
an
think-
obvious one.
I think we agreed
It's
when
such
we were.
humor. It's got a total vibe.
Yeah.
So a lot of the humor that we've had on the show has been certainly inspired or even ripped off from this guy here, Mark M, and his Sick Animation brand. They're just fucking great. I would check him out if you're down for some really weird shit because he goes all over the place,
Great lyrics.
but just
Where'd you
super
guys come
clever.
up on him?
What was that?
Where'd you guys come up on him?
I found it through him. Through
Yeah,
Eric.
I stumbled upon him. I think when I was in 6th grade, and it was on Newgrounds. So it was like 2004, and like all of his videos at the time were just like really gay shit, and I was like, oh god, what the fuck? And then like I didn't realize that there was humor layered in there. So he was just doing it as like a spoof, and then it gradually had less like overly gay shit. But
He
like,
talks a lot about dicks.
yeah, no, it's like really like toilet humor at the beginning, and then just kind of gets more and more clever because he's been doing it for 15 years, no, 14 years. So I happened upon it when I was 12. So just on the internet on Newgrounds.
Wow, he's got 1.1 million views. Jesus.
Yeah, no, he's fucking great. Like that may not have been the best explanation of what he's about, but you can see from those 2 videos, really clever lyrics.
No, I got
like-
the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also the clincher. So if for some reason, like everything else was not going, this is for all the marbles question.
Oh yeah, I think
thing.
we were gonna do a live tally, and then maybe that was like the tiebreaker or something.
No, it was like, we'll just like, like, yeah.
Oh yeah,
let's
if you
make
kept
it-
answering wrong, we were like, okay, you can win it back with an answer on this one.
But honestly, this turned out.
This was way.
This was actually a
different
lot
and-
better than the way, because the way you were explaining things
Yeah, that was
was
fucking
not
awesome.
exactly the way we were anticipating, which turned out really well.
Well, it's kind of a wide interpretation question.
It is.
It is.
You know,
Beefing it, I think, has a very. It is the biggest trouble with me is just explaining how
Yeah,
it works,
I have trouble doing it.
and it's just something we just.
I get it.
Yeah. Well, you're
I mean, I
in.
think
dude.
I do.
Yeah.
I think you get easily 95% of it. The 5% that didn't get Phil Collins and
Was
Tears
the
for Fears,
80s?
I don't blame for you. I don't blame you for it.
Those the 80s or the 5%.
Yeah, and well, I mean, anime is probably a good 50% of it. So I mean,
There were
we'll-
some beefers in the 80s. I mean, you had like who were like the big heavy hitter beefers in the 80s?
Paul
Sting.
Simon.
He was kind of a beefer. Sting's kind of a beefer.
let's see, 80s beefers.
Would you think Sting's a beefer?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I feel like Sting's great, but
What about Guns N' Roses? Beefer or not?
I
beefer?
feel
No.
like they're too silly and like derpy. I never.
Not
Yeah.
not the right silly. It's a little more. I found a little too try hardy sometimes.
Who else 80s was like a borderline beefer?
Electric Light Orchestra. That's the late.
Did they have
70s.
I was like, did they have stuff in the 80s? I guess they probably must have, huh?
Yeah,
So I know most of ELO is in the 70s, or maybe I'm thinking wrong.
could be.
Okay, what about this? Steely Dan.
I would say beefers.
I would say beefers.
Those
Say
guys could
beefers.
fucking play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I'd
didn't
say
give a
beefers,
shit
too.
either. They're like, we're gonna do whatever we want.
Yeah, they stopped touring for 30 years or something.
Yeah. Well, like we got Gaucho and fuck it, and then Fagin shows up with the Nightfly and Kamakura.
I like the Nightfly. I like that album.
So those are 2 guys that just did whatever they wanted.
My brother loves Steely Dan. He's a really big Steely Dan fan.
Yeah.
Well, what's
So-
left, man?
Yeah, no.
I think we mastered it. This is a fucking
Yeah,
great pod.
we've learned as well. So
Well,
that's definitely
cool.
what I came away with.
How was your experience on this pod? I think
Oh, it was great. You
we
guys
want to
were
make
great,
sure that
man.
this is like
Thank you.
a very
great,
pleasurable
good dinner,
experience.
fun talk. I
Awesome.
like the beefer, not beefer.
I think we're gonna keep.
So
we're
Yeah,
gonna
gonna
that,
keep
that's
rolling
just,
that
we,
one.
we were demoing it, and it's definitely.
It was
Yeah.
good starting with Willie Nelson.
You're gonna
as a
ease you
beaver.
into it,
That's
yeah.
pretty easy, but he's like.
Like, is Punish Steve a beefer?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
that's
what
good.
about this? Let me ask you guys one. Who is the biggest beefer of 2017?
2017?
Oh
You guys say 2017.
We usually do a thing-
Beefer of the year.
Beefer. That's
shit!
damn.
I have to really scroll back the year. I mean, because for a while we used to do a thing called Beef of the Week.
Yeah, we would have that,
And-
but Beefer of the year. That's a fucking good one.
Ted Cruz is up there for his recent porno site.
He had beefing moment of the year, I think.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of beefing lately. 2017 is a down year for beefers.
We thought it was going to be the summer of memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's certainly been proven to be true. Memes are everywhere.
The summer of memes, 50 years after the summer of love. That's the way it's supposed to work, right?
Exactly.
I'd have to really...
So I'm trying to think of in what field did someone really like stand out, and I'm not thinking of anything. You know, it might be a year where the award wasn't given out. I'm sure there's something out there that it's deserving of it. But
It's like, did you guys ever see that thing that they used to do? It was like the anti-Oscars. It was like where they would hand out like worst actor of the year.
Worst
raspberries, yeah.
Yeah, and they gave Tom Green got worst actor and worst movie of the year for Freddy Got Fingered, and he showed up to receive the award.
You know what happened was the year.
That's great.
I thought that was so funny.
The year Sandra Bullock won for Best Actress, she knew she was going to win, and so she also knew she was going to win the Razzie at the same time. She's the only actress to win Best Actor and Worst Actor in the same year.
So did she show up?
She showed up because she could take the joke. Like like something about Steve or All About Steve, I guess was the movie.
God, what would Beefer of the Year be?
Hey, you guys are supposed to be the beefologists, man.
Yeah, we
know.
really should know this.
Psychedelic Space Beef Band?
Us. We're the Beefer of the
Your
Year.
own band. It has to be a single person. It can't be a band.
Yeah.
It's like, Time Magazine does person.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we should. Hey, give us 3 months. It'll be on the website. We'll have an article. Beefer of the Year.
It's true.
That's something we should probably focus on for week as well. You could put that up. Beefer and Queefer of the Week.
I've been behind on
Beefer
that.
and Queefer.
Yeah. We'll also have Queefer of the Year.
We all know who Queefer of the Year is. I think he's Queefer of the Decade.
He's queefing on a whole nother level.
Yeah. I love that whole line of like, I haven't shown you this yet, but I wrote the psychedelic space beef boogie at the very end of Meet the Beefers, which I'll show you later. And it's essentially like the first 3 minutes are basically just quotes of all these queefers from like, they're all
Fox
like
News
Fox
and,
News analysts that are
and
just
like YouTubers and
YouTubers
shit.
who are just complaining about just endless complaining.
Our generation sucks.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's just like,
I hate that kind of shit.
yeah, and it's just like the world. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I want to thank you so much. Who would you like to see on the show? I want to know who you call somebody out, and we'll
Somebody you'd
reach
like
out
to
to them.
get? I'd
No,
really-
who would you like to get? Who do you want to see
on this
go
show?
through this experience?
Neil Young would be pretty cool.
Ooh,
Okay.
I think we can get in touch with his
Young.
agent.
Yeah, we'll call his people.
Yeah, I think Neil would be good. I also think
I would
like,
razz the fuck out of Neil.
like kind of like Obama. I think Obama would be good.
That'd be the best.
He'd actually do it. He's done Between Two Ferns.
I feel like Obama would beef it hard.
Yeah,
He would. He's definitely a beefer.
he's a beefer.
Oh yeah.
That guy, it's almost sad to have a president who just doesn't actually is hating on sports more than he is actually,
Yeah.
digging it.
I mean, Obama just went chalk, but he fucking made a bracket.
Yeah.
So why not?
But like actual people, like obtainable people.
Actually, that was. We can do
I mean,
obtainable
we
people
like
too.
that too, but you know.
But you
If you
actually
wanna-
got the idea of who do you want to see on the show. Sure, that was actually one of the questions. Is both obtainable and slightly less obtainable people.
Slightly.
I wouldn't say they're non-obtainable, but
Yeah.
we can call them up and say what.
They're not dead.
Just go down Mark Maron's roster of who he's having on his show and just get all those people. I like Mark Maron. He's funny.
You should get Mark Maron on the pod.
Yeah, get Mark Maron.
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be
there
the
we go.
ultimate. That would be the
What
great.
the fuck is this? You
great.
feeding me? What is this? Some sort of cult experience? Yes, do it.
Just beef that
Just
shit up.
beef it up, motherfucker. So,
Cool, man.
anyway, thanks again, Ted, for
It
doing
was
this.
My
and,
pleasure, Steven.
and thanks, John, for doing the early thing, and thank you, Eric, for providing
For
all you
doing
provide.
one episode sober. Finally,
Yes,
you know,
it's not bad.
Nice.
it went okay.
I got the sober episode. All right.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Normally they're somewhere where I can crash or someone can give me a ride, but I'm not gonna make Steve drive me to Ventura and then pick me up tomorrow to get my car.
Oh, God.
You know?
Yeah, that would be
All right,
kind-
see ya.